Hi, I'm Pam Smith with JP and Associates Realtors, and I am here with Rick Shellhorse. He's one of my preferred lenders, and he's with Synergy One Mortgage Company, and he's been doing mortgages for a good long time, so he's a real good source of knowledge. And I wanted to visit today and talk about the fact that we're in a really competitive market right now. It's a seller's market for sure, and a lot of times my buyers are facing multiple offers, and they're having to compete with other buyers. And so there are lots of ways that we can structure our offers so that we are very competitive without having to try to bid way up above the list price. One of those is to get your loan fully underwritten before we make an offer. So that's what I wanted to visit with Rick about. So I'm going to share Rick's information with you so you can have it. Feel free to give him a call and ask him questions. You'll find him a really good resource. And I'm going to put his information up, and I'm going to ask him to introduce himself and give us a little bit of information about his background. So Rick, if you could tell us about yourself and what you do.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Rick Shellhorse. I'm with Synergy One Lending, doing business as GetMyHomeLoan.com. I've been in the business for 19 years. I have a whole team behind me. We consist of a couple loan officers, a couple loan officer assistants, in-house that allows us to move loans a lot quicker than just a general loan officer. Seen every loan known to man, so if you've got any loans that you want to take a look at, let me know.
Okay, very good. So when I work with buyers, I think there's a misunderstanding out there about getting pre-approved in the loan process. I've heard people talk about I'm pre-qualified with my lender. I've heard people say I have a pre-approval from my lender. And then we've also got what you and I wanted to talk about today, and that's the fully underwritten loan approval. So can you, what is the difference between a pre-qualification letter and a pre-approval letter as far as you're concerned?
Good question. A lot of lenders do it many different ways. As simple as a pre-qualification is no documents. Somebody filled out an application online. Based on what they said on their application, they issued approval and told you to go out and look for houses. That is generally just a pre-qualification. You filled out an app, you put in your income, you put in your assets, and you are able to pull credit score.
Okay, so they just gave you the information and you don't know. So as long as, so on your end, as long as they're telling the truth and they don't have anything that's complicated, like the type of income, or I know there are a lot of things that can affect their ability to get a mortgage, but just at first glance, it looks like based on their credit and what they said, they should be able to be
correct
qualified. Okay.
You know, on many different loans, what I do is take it a little step further. We don't want to waste the client's time or your time as an agent on giving a pre-qualification just based on what people think their income is. A lot of people are putting their overtime income in there and haven't had 2 years of overtime income, so that we can't even use that for commissions. So we definitely want to dig a little deeper in the application because we're the experts. The client is just trying to get a home loan, and they may have filled out an application based on what they know, and it just may not be what we can qualify. So we like to take the pre-qualification a little step further and get some documents, get some income documents, which consist of a month of pay stubs, 2 months of bank statements, and if they're self-employed, W-2s, and if they're self-employed, we'll want the full tax returns. But based off that, we can calculate the income on the loan level and give them a pre-qualification letter. And that way we feel more comfortable than going out and look for houses based on what we know versus what the client knows. And then to take that a step further is if we got that documentation, and you know, through 19 years of experience, and I think that the least amount of experience I have on my team as far as the loan level is 15 years. So if they look at the tax returns, W-2s, and pay stubs, they know that it's a loan or not. But
they know what?
They'll know if it's a loan or not. So we would feel comfortable letting them go out and look for houses.
Oh, okay.
Qualification letter. Now,
Okay, so let me stop you then. So we've got the pre-qualification where you just look at their credit and then they tell you stuff verbally, and as long as what they told you is accurate, then they should be okay. And then we've got the pre-approval where you've actually looked at some of their documentation.
Well, what we do is a more intense pre-qualification. So most loan officers out there will just go off based on what the client tells them and send them out there and say, hey, Pam, go show them my house.
Okay.
Well, that could be wasting everybody's time. So We can do a pre-qualification a little more in depth by getting documentation. But them taking that pre-qualification a step further is taking that information and submitting it to an underwriter, and then getting the full underwriting approval. And that's the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification or a general.
Okay.
So there's two levels of pre-qualification. Pre-qualification based on what the client tells you and pulling credit, pre-qualification based on getting their documents and reviewing it, and then submitting it to an underwriter for a full pre-approval.
Okay.
Now, approval, that means it's already been through underwriting. An underwriter versus a loan officer has verified their income, signed off on their income, signed off on their assets, signed off on their credit. So we know if they get a contract this loan is closing, pending any crazy things that could happen in between. But generally speaking, 99% of the time, that loan's closing. And it's closing at a lot faster rate because we've already been through underwriting. We've already got conditions. We've already started clearing conditions. Basically, what we need is a contract, a title, a survey, and an appraisal.
Okay. So if somebody, so you say you pre-qualify somebody, but you don't do the full underwriting. How long from the time somebody goes under contract that you've pre-approved, once we get the loan, then they have to start giving you all these documents and all that stuff. How long do we need to allow to be able to comfortably know that we've given enough time for the closing to take place on time?
I would say generally 3 weeks. And that's just because of COVID right now, because we close loans in 10 days sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. So if they're fully underwritten, if they've already gone through the underwriting process, then we just have to allow time for the appraisal and the title.
Mm-hmm.
And those can usually be done in probably what, 10 days or so?
At the very most, appraisals are taking a little bit longer. But what's different about us with our appraisers is we don't have an appraisal management company anymore. We have a panel of appraisers that we've picked so that we don't have to go through that third party. So it's speeding up the process.
So that's faster. Okay. Okay. And then I guess no matter what, once they decide they want to buy a house, all the stuff that you have to collect for the fully underwritten loan, they're going to have to be providing it at some point anyway, right?
Exactly. It's better to get that up front. Everybody likes, it's better to know up front than to know later.
Okay.
You're going to have to provide it anyway. Why not provide it at application?
Right.
And through our phone app and our online application, it prompts you to upload that documentation right after you finish the application.
Okay.
So we're ahead of the game.
Okay. And for the people that I work with as buyers, I want to let you know that when we make an offer on a property, in our contract, we're giving them the sales price. We're giving them what date we want to close. We've got all this information that we include in there. One of the things that we have to include in that is how are we going to finance this house? So there's a document that we submit along with our contract called a third-party financing addendum. That addendum says I'm getting this type of loan. This is the interest rate that I've got. It gives you all this. And then one of the things in that document is a place where you can check a box where it says this offer is contingent upon the buyer getting a loan. And if they don't get the loan within X number of days, the buyer has the right to terminate the contract and get their earnest money back. And then there's another box that you can check that says this contract or this offer is not contingent upon the buyer getting a loan. So what I like about your fully underwritten loan is we can check that second box that says this is not contingent upon the buyer being approved for their loan, because that's almost as good as cash. And when we're competing with other buyers, there's a period of uncertainty for a seller in there. If we've said it's going to take us 21 days to find out for sure whether this buyer can move forward with the loan, then that seller is going to be in limbo for 21 days, and they may choose another offer over ours. But if we can put that in there and say, we don't need 21 days, we need 0 days because we've already gone through this process, then that gives us a leg up on other buyers, and we didn't even have to increase the sales price.
No, listing agent's going to pick that one over the other one any day.
Now, is it any more expensive for the buyer to do the fully underwritten loan?
No. We everything, there is no upfront charge for anything. We're processing it as if they've gotten a contract.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, I appreciate you explaining the differences between the different types of pre-qualification and the advantage of getting the fully underwritten loan. And for everybody who's watching, if you would like to visit with me about getting your full pre-qualification from Mr. Shellhorse and then letting me help you go and fight for that property you want, then give me a call. And I'm going to put, Rick, I'm going to put your information back up one more time in case people want to jot it down and didn't get a chance to earlier.
Yeah, getmyhomeloan.com right now goes straight to the application. And we have once you get there, you can actually download a phone application, and Pam's got her phone application. She can send that information to you as well. And what that does is allow you to track your loan all the way through the process. And it'll notify you if you're missing anything. It sends a push notification to your phone. It's very, very helpful from start to finish through the loan process.
All right. Well, Rick, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. And I know that people are going to find this very informative, and hopefully it will help some of us some of my buyers who have been out there competing for the very few houses that are out there available.
Of course. And, I'm willing to say go to the next topic next time too.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am.